Hello and welcome to another edition of Started in Seattle. This week I'm here with Buuteeq and Aicha.
Yes.
That's how you pronounce it. I'm Koji, this is Aicha. And Buuteeq is one of the, I think, better known startups in the Seattle area, actually. So could you tell us a little bit about what Buuteeq is and what you guys do?
We've been around for about 3.5 years. In our most recent office, about 1.5 years, we create, essentially, hotel marketing automation software. And what that means is the ability to sort of help a hotel present their digital selves on the web, obviously through the website predominantly, making sure that website works on all devices at all times, regardless of search engine changes that Google makes on a regular basis, or Facebook updates, or what have you. So we provide the platform by which hotels can present themselves, and then we focus on making sure that they get the most direct bookings possible through that channel.
All right, excellent. And so we were talking before, just a little earlier, about sort of your past experience. You've been with Microsoft and Amazon, and now you are with the startup
Buuteeq,
world.
Definitely, yeah, about a year.
Can you tell me a little bit about that transition?
Yeah.
What sort of drove that decision for you? What were the end results? And I think there's a lot of people out there sort of testing the waters, deciding, do I want to take the plunge into the startup world? Like, what do you have for them?
I'd say I still laugh when I hear the words "I'm at a startup" because I never thought I would be saying those words, and I think it's a very personal decision to make that switch from a larger company to a smaller one. For me, it was really a time in my career where I really wanted to get my hands more dirty and more direct. The startup environment seemed like the best place and best way to do that. Your sense of priorities and your sense of project management skills are heightened at a startup because you're constantly saying what's most important, and you're constantly evaluating, sometimes abandoning a project midstream if goals change, sometimes picking something up and moving quickly with it. And I wanted to be in that world and experiment with that part of my career. And I'm learning a great deal as a result. I'm both on a team where I manage people as well as being able to do my own individual contributions towards our marketing efforts, and it's been great so far.
Okay.
It's not for the feeble-hearted, I can tell you that, but it's been a great experience.
Was there a big sort of cultural shift from the expectations of them to here?
I think that just because, for me anyway, because a lot of people who work here are like, oh, this is the biggest company I've worked in, and we're about 100 people, and nothing compared to Microsoft or Amazon.
Right.
I really feel like you're part of a tribe, even more so than at a large company. A smaller company really becomes one with your own identity in a positive way, I think.
Right.
And I really enjoy that, and that's the cultural shift I've had to make. What I do matters a great deal. What I don't do sometimes matters even more. When there's a gaping hole, like, what happened here? Oh, I didn't get to it. So I love that challenge, and I love the environment. I feel like I'm part of a big family. I really do. Much more so than at Microsoft, for instance. I was there for a number of years. I have some great friends and great ties there. But here, I really feel like there's a more intimate family environment, which I enjoy.
Okay. And before you made the decision, sort of what were the questions you were asking yourself? So if somebody was coming to you and be like, I'm with the Amazons and the Microsofts of the world, and I'm thinking about this, looking back now, was there something specific to you that you realized, okay, I can make this, and 2020, you're like, okay, that was the right decision, or vice versa?
Yeah, maybe? A lot of it was, where do I want my career to be in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, directionally? What kind of experiences do I want to put on my resume that I know I have full involvement and full control over? So that was one factor. Another factor for me for a while was to experiment with a different, what I call quality of life attributes, like traffic. I didn't have to travel over the bridge. I like working in Seattle. I like having a community here. So other more intangible aspects of my current working conditions and working environment, that also played a role. And then you just have to ask yourself, there's benefits you leave behind from a large company that you may not readily find in a startup, but you have to understand and explore what the startup does provide that the large company doesn't, and make that pros and cons list. I literally made a pros and cons list. And Buuteeq definitely came out far ahead for where I was in my career.
Right. So. You sort of lose some of that safety net, right?
Sure,
when you move to the small.
Absolutely.
Do you even care anymore? Or
I did. It was sort of haunting me the first few months that I was here. I was like, it's like free fall if I get it wrong. Or the particular environment that we have here, the culture is that make a lot of mistakes, just don't make the same ones, and recover quickly.
Okay.
Like that's the kind of the culture and the philosophy we have. So you get used to that. You're like, it's okay to make mistakes as long as I don't repeat them, and I move on, I discover, and I improve.
Right.
And that's actually helped me to sort of buffer myself as in terms of it's like a philosophical safety net, if you will, right?
Right.
So that's helped a great deal. But yeah, it takes a bit of an adjustment. And then after a while, you get so busy, honestly, you forget. Like, I just have to keep going. I have a lot to do. And that's how it goes.
All right. And then from Buuteeq's perspective, you know, were they looking for somebody that came from sort of the big world of corporations?
So for Buuteeq in particular, we cater to specifically to the hospitality industry, to hotels, properties of all sizes around the world. We have a worldwide contingency actually, which is very rare for a startup. We have worldwide offices and we have worldwide customers. So that's an interesting area for us to gain knowledge in. So people are hired specifically for that kind of industry knowledge. And then people are also hired for their cloud and software knowledge as well, because we also have one foot in that industry and in that capacity. I think I was hired initially because I'm from the software industry, so I could easily ramp up on the cloud. I just have to work my way up on the hospitality side of things. I need to familiarize myself, really understand that industry. And I was initially hired to help us build out some of our marketing collateral so that we can more easily explain both what we do as well as how we map to hospitality. But it's always learning new things, which I love. You have to have that mentality of I know nothing every single day, depending on the problem that I'm given, and I just have to I have to ramp up quickly and produce something effective.
Okay. And do you see that lot, like, with people coming into Buuteeq? I mean, is it a hindrance if you come from the big corporate world? Because I know, I
don't think so. I think it really is more of a what do you currently know and can provide immediately, and what is, honest to God, your attitude towards learning new things, and self-improvement. I think those are very key attributes that we look for in figuring out how the person would fit culturally.
Okay.
Cultural fit is really important.
Can you explain, like, what is the culture of Buuteeq?
Good question.
You can put it in a few words.
Put it in a few words. Probably would fail miserably. One of our favorite words is pivot, which sometimes we kind of mock ourselves, like, really, are we pivoting again? But in a deeper philosophical meaning, it really means, again, make mistakes, but make them quickly and move on and do not repeat. And improve at every single instance of a process or of an outcome. And we're nimble enough that we can pivot directionally. We can create new product for the industry depending on where we are in the market and how the market's reacting, as well as pivot from a cultural perspective. Meaning we like to be more self-aware. We like to increase our own self-awareness and make sure that we are incorporating diversity as a huge, big part of our culture. Into all that we do, into how we solve problems, into the teams we form, into the processes that we create.
Okay. Are there any challenges you see moving to a new location? Because Buuteeq's going to move.
Just plain the move, I think, will be big. But yes, we're moving to a new location, and in just a couple of weeks, actually, because we've grown to a great size for this location. It's just the logistics of how do you make the move and not disrupt work. Right. It's a big challenge for us. Yeah.
Oh man. All right. Well, good luck with that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Do you have sort of any final bits of advice to the people out there in Seattle?
People out there in Seattle. I'm learning about the startup community now myself, having been only in it for a year. And I have to say, it's just incredibly passionate sort of community of people. So I'm drawing more out of it right now in terms of giving advice. I feel I'm very new, but it's a great part of I think it's a great part of Seattle, the city, and I'm glad it's flourishing. Despite its Bay Area neighbor, on its own and on its own 2 feet. Yeah. So it's great to see that happen.
All right, well, I hear that a lot actually.
Yeah,
so it's always good to hear. But all right, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for your time as well.
This is Buuteeq, and thank you for joining us.